Hey everyone, this is Patrick, and it is time for another edition of Heavy Therapy. This edition is a review, and I was really excited about this album, and that is because Aara is one of my favorite modern black metal projects going today. So, who are Aara? Aara is a bit of a mysterious project in terms of photos. So they always are wearing hooded robes. There's 3 of them there, actually. Aara is comprised of Berg, which translates to mountain in Swiss. He is responsible for the music, guitars, samples, and then we have Fluss or Flus on vocals. And the name Aara itself is a pretty cool combination. So there is the river Aare, and then there's the word, which is a Latin expression for altar, Aara. So they combined that to create basically a new word called Aara, which is the river as altar, or nature as a manifestation of a spiritual place, according to an interview with, I believe that was Berg. So Aara play a atmospheric, highly melodic style of black metal. They've been around only a short period of time. They have an EP and 2 albums before they embarked on this series, this trilogy, this triad. So their first album in 2021 was Triad I, EOS, 6 tracks, 45 minutes of music. They followed that up really quickly with Triad II, Aara, in 2022, 6 tracks, almost 42 minutes of music. And now this album, which is the album that I am reviewing, comes in this awesome slipcase. There is the lyric sheet, more photos of the mysterious members of Aara. Here's the album. This is, again, the final part of this trilogy. This is Triad III, Nyx. 6 tracks, 41 minutes of music. So this album does take on a theme, and I really, really, really appreciate that about this project, this trilogy here. So I try to read some reviews, some summaries of this book. I didn't have time to read the book myself. I did find the book, so I downloaded a copy of it online. This trilogy by Aara is inspired by a Gothic novel published in 1820 by Irish author Charles Robert Maturin. It is called Melmoth the Wanderer, and the novel tells the story of John Melmoth, who was a scholar who sells his soul to the devil in exchange for 150 years of extended life. So a typical Faustian bargain. So Melmoth spends his existence wandering the world, seeking out individuals who are desperate enough to take on his pact and relieve him of his curse. So the novel weaves together various narratives of individuals who have encountered Melmoth and the horrific consequences of their actions. The novel explores themes of sin, guilt, and redemption, while also providing a chilling and suspenseful atmosphere. The music itself is chilling and suspenseful, and it is epic. So, as I started to do in my last review, I want to sort of use other albums that I own as touchstones to sort of put an image in your head of what Aara might sound like if you've never heard of them at all, and if all you know is that they are a atmospheric melodic black metal band. So right off the bat, you'll notice the vocals Flus or Flus, I apologize for the pronunciation, really stays in the stratosphere, high pitched. I actually think of Jamie from the death grind band Noel. If you know Noel, if you know Jamie, he has a wide range, low gutturals, mid range, high shrieks. His highs, Aara's highs, which are the entirety of Aara's vocals. Aara's highs remind me of Jamie from Noel. And let me grab one more album actually. They also remind me of the vocalists from Deaf Heaven. Not on this album, which is their latest album, which he basically sings on the entire time. There's no screaming. But yeah, if you like the high shrieks that that Deaf Heaven do, so think of Deaf Heaven plus Noel, and you'll get pretty close to what the vocalist of Aara sounds like. I read some interviews, and Aara are influenced by decades of black metal, but also ambient, electronic music, and classical music. And in terms of classical, they pointed out more of the mood and atmosphere. They were inspired by Blut aus Nord. So in terms of the ambition and the chilling experience, I would say that makes sense to me. The style of black metal makes me think of this Fua album, maybe Vendir as well. But let me try with just some words here to describe Aara's sound. So I think they actually have very few ingredients, but they keep making an amazing meal with a small number of ingredients. So mostly very energetic, busy, blast-filled drum work. That's the drumming. That's the rhythm section. I don't really even hear bass too much, but I could be wrong about that. I know there's bass on the record, but the rhythm section is largely carried by this super fast, tom-filled, energetic drumming performance that wouldn't be out of place on, most other black metal albums. Very blasting, but also dynamic and interesting to listen to throughout the trilogy. No less on this third album. The guitars. So the guitars is mostly extremely fast played tremolo lead work, tremolo melodies, punctuated by, more of those just riffy style, thrashy, if you want, riffs. But it's mostly extremely melodic tremolo picked. This is the guitar you're going to get on here. And I said you have those high in the stratosphere vocals that are somewhere in the middle in the mix, maybe even low to mid in the mix. Then there's these swelling, breathing synths. But yeah, the styles of the songs, fast-paced, atmospheric laden tremolo riff that turn into these galloping, progressing tremolos as well. There's some neoclassical picked bridge melodies. So when I say there's very few ingredients, I named a lot for you there, but it's very cohesive is what I mean. Very cohesive. But every time you listen, you do pull out more layers. The guitars are layered. There's beautiful, beautiful synths. Every now and then, and it's actually quite common overall in the 3 album span, they bring in these sort of almost like ghost-like mostly female choral vocals, synth parts, I believe they are, that maybe calls to mind some sort of the choral passages here on Into the Pandemonium by Celtic Frost. Those are the touchstones. That's the overall sound. So let's get a little bit into this part 3 of the trilogy. So track 1 begins with it sounds like either a couple people are walking and you hear the rocks underneath their feet, or they're on a horse and they are riding a horse somewhere. So if you've heard the first two albums, this does sound similar. This is part of the trilogy, but it's amazing how much of a little melodic variety they can achieve. Super melodic, very memorable. Track 5, there's 6 tracks on all these albums. Track 5 on this album, Das Wunder's Traum, starts to call to mind. You can tell it's winding down, and then the last track, they bring back sort of a melody that they built on track 2 of the very first album of this triad, but it's not quite the same, right? It's more sparse, it's more minimal, but it really reminds you of that, of why you first started to love this album in the first place, which is that beautiful, memorable, catchy melody lead in track 2 of Triad 1. So, and then track 6 just kind of ends, and it fades out. Not fades out, it sort of just, it ends abruptly. And you immediately want to hear more. What is next on this project? What are they going to achieve next? So, Aara, it's hard to say which of these albums are my favorite, but the first one holds a very special place in my heart. It's basically flawless. Aara 2 here, Triad 2. Maybe this is a bit more aggressive. Nearly flawless. And once again, they wrap up with part 3, and this is flawless. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. Tied for my favorite album of the year with Altar's Anthronomicon. This is black metal to me. It's interesting because I was listening to this with my partner, and for her, she heard a lot going on, which there is a lot in terms of layers. And she, we were kind of having fun talking about the genre. Avant-garde, melodic, atmospheric, is it post? And to me, this is just black metal. This is what I want atmospheric, melodic, black metal to sound like. They delivered it. This is perfect to my ears. In one of the press releases, I think it was of the second part of the trilogy, the write-up called it brutally melodic. And yeah, so melodic, yet when they're blasting and the tremolo leads are speeding through you, and it's beautifully melodic, but it's also brutal because of the nature of the music. So emotional, so cathartic. Blast beats with this crazy fast pick tremolo playing. Amazing project. It sounds kind of immediately familiar, even though most bands do not sound like Aara, so in that sense they only sound like themselves at the same time. Whatever they're doing up there in Switzerland, please keep doing it. This is a special project, and I am looking forward to their future releases. Tell me what you think of Aara. Definitely check out this third. I would go back and check out all 3 if I were you. But you can start probably anywhere, but it's really fun to go through the whole album in its entirety, the whole trilogy. I mean, that will take you 2 hours if you did it in one sitting. It's worth it. Aara, Triad 3, check it out. It is out on Debemur Morti Productions. Really cool label with avant-garde, progressive, black metal releases. Thanks for watching. Talk to you all soon. Have a good day, and remember to stay heavy.